Hi, everybody, and welcome to Bottom Line with Roni and Byron. I'm Roni.
And I'm Byron.
Today, we're going to talk about redistricting and how it affects Jackson County.
In national news, we'll talk about the Marine officer who criticized the senior leaders of the Afghanistan drawout, and now he's in the military brig.
And we'll go to sports and talk about college football as well as high school football and a little bit of NBA.
And entertainment, we'll talk about Kelly Price actually died during her battle with COVID-19.
And then we'll switch to our relationship tea topic for today, which will be what makes a perfect mate? Is it the physical appearance or the personality? We'll get to it after this. So we'll begin with our local and state news. Our local and state news is brought to you by Brightway Insurance. Brightway Insurance is located on Caledonia Street, 2867 Caledonia Street in Marianna, and they offer property, life, business, vehicle, and other insurance. So please check them out. Brightway Insurance, you can reach them at 850-633-3460. That's 850-633-3460. So for our local news, we're going to start with the presentation that our supervisor of election gave on Tuesday night at the Jackson County Board of County Commissioners meeting regarding redistricting. So she actually talked about how it affects Jackson County and the process itself. So the number she gave, there was a difference between the 2010 census and the 2020 census regarding population. Jackson County has lost 2,427 people. In 2010, there were 49,746 people in Jackson County, and now it's 47,319. So the difference is 2,427. And that may or may not make a difference in how the lines are drawn, Byron, here in Jackson County.
Yeah, it looks like, and I know we've talked about it offline, Ronnie. I'm in favor of even before the new census of rezoning the district for areas like District 5. As the population is, as we see now, is declining in certain areas and growing in other areas. So the whole purpose of, if people don't know out there, the whole purpose of making sure these districts represent the right amount of people, and you don't get one neighborhood or one community doesn't get kind of drowned out with another one, kind of to make things even. And so this is the same point that I made before. People are voting, but they're, even the ones that don't vote, they're voting with their feet. 2,000, I think it was 2,247 people, correct?
2,427. That's the difference in the population between the last census that came about. She did say that the ideal number for each district is 9,464 based on the number she has so far. So, but here's the thing. She can't say whether or not the lines need to be redrawn or not, and the county commissioners can't say that either, because the supervisor election office only has the numbers of registered voters. They don't have the numbers of bodies in Jackson County. So now the county commissioners are waiting for the GIS map to be given to them by one of the staffers, so they can tell them how many people are actually in each district in Jackson County. And once that is determined, then they can go forward and decide whether or not they want to redraw the lines. Now, here's the interesting thing. So either they have two options. They can do it themselves, meaning the county commissioners, or they can appoint a committee to do it. So that's going to be interesting to see if they kind of which way they go. But here's the other thing. There's some requirements to drawing the lines. You have to make sure that there's no more than a 10% deviation between the largest and the smallest district. Also, the population, like I mentioned before, is based on residents, not registered voters. And then also, you have to make sure that each district is a single district, meaning it's not broken, it's single in shape. So you can go from one end of the district to the next without, interrupting with the other district. So I thought that was interesting because to me, it seems like that is actually the case now for District 3 and possibly for District 2, Byron. If you notice in District 3, South Street, when you're going down South Street, the left side of the street is actually District 2, but the right side is District 3. So I think that's happening right now. So I don't know if they can make a correction or not.
Yeah, we got that same issue on the north end of District 5 where I live at. You got one street, Kimbell Road, is split in two between District 1 and District 5. So for those residents that live on that road, half of it is paved with chip seal and the other half is not, because of the district line. So and that's just one of those small things that we look at. And I'm back on that point you made about whether or not they're going to appoint a committee or do it themselves, because I think really, honestly, if you want to keep the integrity of it, probably needs to be a separate entity to do it, because from a political standpoint, you're going to police yourself, or, because when you look at it from whether or not it's more Democrats live in this area versus were registered and active voters versus Republicans in a certain area, you start getting into that, that little fine line. So it would make sense, but it'd be interesting to see which direction they'll go.
But they do have to stick to the criteria. Byron, they do have to make sure, like I said, they don't avoid splitting communities. They're not supposed to do that. They do have to make sure that it's no more than a 10% deviation between the smallest and the largest. And actually, they're supposed to have it done by December 31st. So it's going to be a push to get this done.
Yeah. So for the people that don't know, if you want to see the map or get a snapshot of the districts, you can go on the supervisor election, Jackson County supervisor election website to actually see how it's mapped out. I know you can purchase them as well, so it's kind of pricey to get that big map, but if you want to see that, you can do that.
Now, District 1 may want to keep an eye out on it, because there's some talk that District 1 may be may have some concerns about the population and demographics. As everybody knows, District 1 has shown to be predominantly African American, so therefore they've always had an African American as a county commissioner for District 1. Unfortunately, they just got a school board member in District 1 as an African American, but the goal is to make sure that representation is there for District 1, because in District 2, 3, 4, and 5, there is none. So that's going to be interesting to see if the lines have to be redrawn, if District 1 is affected, and if so, how much. So again, everybody needs to just kind of, and if you don't know, the census is done every 10 years, just to kind of make sure everybody understands that. And that's why they have to do this if there's a big change in population. And unfortunately, due to several reasons in Jackson County, Hurricane Michael, a decline in workforce, we did have a decline in population. And shout out to the supervisor election, Carol Donaway. She did a great job explaining the whole process at the county commissioner meeting on Tuesday night. So, and we'll keep an eye out on that and report back to you as we get more news on the numbers. And then we'll move on to what did happen at the county commissioner meeting. They did adopt a new millage rate. That rate is actually 7.4450. And then they actually adopted the new budget for the fiscal year of 2021 and 2022. And that number is $97,374,198. And that's going to be the budget for the 2021-2022 fiscal year. And it's supposed to be some, road improvements, salary increases. I think a 2% salary increase for the employees for the county. And so that's a good thing for Jackson County. So they did adopt those two things on Tuesday night as well. And then also on Tuesday night at the county commissioner meeting, they did have an interesting exchange. Byron, there was someone that was trying to get a development order approved, and they were trying to construct a business in not Alpha, in Compass Lake. And so there was some commentary that went back and forth before the county commissioners, and we'll let you listen to that and tell me what you think.
Commissioners, every time they make a move, they do something different, which changes everything. So from the initial development order to the second development order, each of them has changed, and so they're no longer valid.
We can sit here and beat this all night. Mr. Hill, can you get with Mr. Peden and Wendy tomorrow, and let's get this resolved and get these people in business? We got to read it.
Commissioners, if you don't mind, we have to have the POA pull this development order and then be on it as
I want Commissioner Hill to get involved in it, get to the bottom of it, get it straight, and get these people in business.
Gotcha. And we want them to succeed. It's not that. We have to follow regulations.
Okay. But we're not going to resolve it here like this. Let Commissioner Hill, it's his district, and Mr. Peden, y'all get together along with Wendy and whoever, and y'all work it out and get them operational.
And Commissioner Peacock?
Yes.
That there is no procedure in your code to convert the existing development order that was approved in-house to the general development order that would be appropriate for the size of the existing development. So
thank you, and I'm going to let Commissioner Hill resolve that.
Okay, but you're still going to have to go through the processes because of the size of the development. This is just based on your own code, based on the rules that you all as a board set.
Well, we would have to grant a waiver is what would have to happen. And that's one of your options, Commissioner Hill. You explore it, you solve it, and you come back.
You can't grant a waiver from the public hearing process. That you can't do that.
Okay. Commissioner Hill will take care of this. Okay? I'm finished with it. For tonight. Anything else?
So as you saw, Byron, what the owners were trying to get a development order approved. Apparently, they constructed something that was not what they applied for as far as the development order, and they were told to do it a certain way, and they didn't. And then here we are.
Yeah, well, now I'm just speaking from hindsight 2020 from what I see. Typically, when people want to get a permit, they're trying to build something, we kind of, even those of us that may add on to our house, we might not be as forthcoming as to the actual size of what we're doing. But it sounds like to me, and we're trying to get the least costly permit as possible. So it sounds like to me, this is kind of one of those situations. But as a leader, as somebody that's been in these situations where you've got a lot of back and forth, just saying get the job done is not going to cut it.
Right.
And it looks, and the thing is, I think looks like the attorney and Miss I think it's Eschlinger. I hope I'm pronouncing the name right.
Wendy Schesslinger. She was trying to explain. Yes. The attorney Michelle Blankenship.
That.
Yeah.
Basically, we could get this knocked out right now. I mean, to me, it'd been like, hey, what's the max capacity of this place you're trying to build? What is it? Okay, what's the appropriate permit for it? And now that's what needs to happen. But Chairman wanted to push it back to Commissioner Hill and get it done. So I hopefully he gets it done. But it's one of those things, people, that's why shows like this and our podcast is so important, because people need to actually see. I know every day, and it's hard, me being a father and working and have 5 kids, it's hard for us to go to these meetings and to be able to see these board meetings. But if you can see the decision making and the process that actually goes on, it'll enlighten you a whole lot. So to see the people that are elected duly to make the decisions on something that's simple, and budgets, people, budgets aren't that to me, because that's the experience I have. It's not that complicated, but understand what is being approved and what is being allocated. Okay.
Right.
You can go on and find this information, but what is being approved is basically in a short, a breakdown is if you and your wife are making a set amount of income, you say, okay, based on what we made last year, we can project that, okay, $80,000 is what we can project what we're going to spend this following year. Now, in the middle of that year, you may get a raise, your wife may get a raise, and you may get a raise, and you can say, oh, well, at the end of the year, this is our actual spending. And so we can rebudget for the next year. Or you may do something like, you may make a book, you may start doing a trade or throwing a couple of events and make some extra dollars. And so that adds too. But would you want to increase your budget too high or not too high? It's in a small nutshell. That's kind of what happens. But understand that the people behind that crunch those numbers aren't necessarily the commissioners. So
they do have an accountant.
So when these budgets get approved, understand what is really getting approved, right, and what is being allocated, because these roads and many of those road projects aren't coming from the county budget. They're coming from maybe some grants or something like that,
and from the state.
And
speaking of roads,
shout out engaged.
Shout out to the Poplar Springs Road is getting paid finally. Yay! It will go from US 90 up until right in front of the church. I think that's where it will stop. And that's been a long time coming itself, Byron, because I don't know, 50, 60 years ago,
50 years.
It was supposed to be that every road that led to a church was paved. And for some reason, the road Poplar Springs that led to Poplar Springs Church did not get paid. And they've been fighting this fight for a very long time. So kudos that it's, finally getting done. And the design will be done by All Day Howell Engineering Company. And there are, that was approved on Tuesday night as well. So, but Byron, back to go ahead.
Let me cut real quick. I will say to the people of Poplar Springs, congrats, but don't let up, because I've fought with them. And Poplar Springs Road all the way from Highway 9 to Blue Springs should be paid, because that's an added benefit to the county. You know, people that come and want to go to Blue Springs, they don't have to travel all the way down Highway 90 on to 71 in one big circle. They can just take Poplar Springs Road. So yes, it's taking them to the church, and I know it's long overdue for them, but keep continuing the fight to take it all the way to the Blue Springs Road.
Okay. So back to the exchange, Byron, with the that was the attorney that you heard that was actually on the phone, Michelle Blankenship Jordan, and then the lady that was actually there communicating with the county commissioner is Wendy Schesinger. She's the community development director, and they both were trying to explain to them how the development order is set up for the county and how you're supposed to proceed. So you can't basically, omit this part for this person, but make everybody else abide by it. It's a regulation that everybody has to abide by. So you can't just, I think he said we just do a waiver. Well, you can't do that. That's what the attorney was telling him. You can't do a waiver. So you can't pick and choose who the development orders, it says who they have to, apply to. You can't do that. And that's what it seems like the commissioner was doing. And I even think, at the very end, he already had his mind made up that you're going to do it this way. And so it's going to be interesting to watch to see how they proceed, even after the commentary that took place Tuesday night.
Yeah, it's called uniformity. What you do for one, you have to do for all.
Exactly. So, you can't pick and choose, right? Who follows the rules or not. And then let's go on to some state news. So yesterday, the minimum wage did go up from $8.65 to $10 an hour. So that is good news for a lot of people, and that took effect September the 30th. And some more laws, basically. Oh, how that works. Because people were like, I thought it was going to be $15 an hour. No, it's going to be $10 an hour now. And then each year it'll go up $1 up until it gets to $15. So it's not $15 all at once. So there's a gradual increase to get to that point. So just so you know that. Some more laws that took effect, basically takes effect today. Actually, there are a lot of laws that were passed during the legislative session. And October the 1st, was the first day that a lot of them took effect. But one in particular, Byron, I want to make sure we always, hear these stories about kids being left on the bus or in some type of daycare van. So there's a law. It's called Child Safety. It's Senate Bill 252. The bill creates the Child Safety Alarm Act, which requires vehicles used by child care facilities to be equipped with alarm systems that prompt drivers to ensure no children remain on board when the vehicles are parked. So I think that's pretty good. I think that's long overdue, because there are too many kids that's been left in vehicles and that end up dying. So, but just take a look at the bills. You can Google it and see all the laws that basically came into effect on October the 1st. So that's going to be it for our state news. Again, our state news and local news was brought to you by Brightway Insurance. They're located right here in Marianna. They offer property, vehicle, business, and life insurance. You can reach them at 850-633-3460 and just let them know that you heard us talking about them on Bottom Line with Roni and Byron. What you got for national?
So for national news, I'm going to start with YouTube blocks all anti-vaccine content. YouTube looks to they're being very aggressive with this. And for those that don't know, YouTube is actually owned by Alphabet Inc., which is Google. Is also banning channels associated with several prominent anti-vaccine activists, including Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Joseph Mercalo, a YouTube spokesperson, said. They're basically like, hey, they're not doing it because of a backlash that came from people saying that, hey, you're not aggressive with blocking these people that's posting stuff that's just factually not true. Examples of content that won't be allowed on YouTube include claims that the flu vaccine causes infertility and that the MMR shot, which protects against measles, mumps, and rubella, can cause autism, according to the YouTube policy. So that's a big move. Even other jobs and other professions are being aggressive with, hey, you're not vaccinated, things getting real. But kudos to YouTube.
Well, they're just trying to prevent
things.
people from distorting the truth, and from putting information out there that basically are misguiding and misleading people. So the kudos to them. That is good.
Now they still receiving backlash as well. I think a Russian company was pushing back as well, and obviously going to get people that say they're trampling on rights and things of that such. But we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I think the majority of not just America and the rest of the world be happier that they're taking the stance. So going on to my other story, after testifying to senators, General Miley, Austin, and McKenzie face House panel. So they'll go before the House during basically explaining the process in which the events of Afghanistan, with the bombing and the 13 soldiers and Marines that died during the drawdown in Afghanistan. Me personally, I don't like when, and I understand the process of having a committee and kind of digging into folks, but our military leaders aren't politicians.
That's true.
We do what we're told, and based on the mission that we're given. So the Biden administration, those top officials, this past it's coming this coming Wednesday to face more questions. General Miley and the chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff, they'll testify. And then they're expected to face the similar questions. But like I said, we know when it's typically Democrats, and if it's agenda that they're cool with, they're not going to be as pressing on them. Republican senators, a couple of them was really grilling into General Miley. They were accusing him basically of making comments toward this gentleman that wrote a book, kind of a tell-all book about that situation. And he's basically like, look, I didn't tell this guy anything. We gave the information to the Biden administration, to the president, and they make the choice on base what they're going to do. We can't say we're going to take over. That's not how it works. The president is the commander in chief. So, I kind of I don't like when they come at us like that. We're you
Yeah.
know, if they were politicians, cool, grill them. That's a whole political game. But when it comes to our military leaders,
So what do you think
don't
is
play
going
the
to
game of
happen?
politics.
What do you think is going to happen?
It's gonna. I think they're gonna have their little. You know, it's gonna after a few weeks it be nothing. It's one of those political moves, just like with with Hillary Clinton. You know, with the Benghazi, they'll have their committee. That one side will use it as a telling how bad this person is. The other side will say, well, nah, and it'll blow over.
Okay.
It's sad to say, but at the end of the day, the president, he took responsibility for it, but the generals, they gave their information, they gave what they thought was the best move to make, and the president makes his own, and his cabinet makes their own decision. So it's not on them. But we'll see how the Democrats come in. Maybe they'll come in even a more aggressive way. We don't know. In my next story, I don't know if people kind of followed this, but it was a Marine lieutenant colonel that went viral. It was a Marine officer. He was criticized. He criticized those same senior leaders on the Afghanistan drawdown. He's now in the brig. So for those
tell me what that
know,
is, because we don't know what that is.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, the brig was a military prison, pretty much military jail, and in the military, something that in the civilian world may be a written reprimand or even a suspension will be gravely different in the military. So especially in the Marine Corps. And you have a different, you have uniform code of military justice, you have a different set of rules that you have to adhere to. So his name was Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Scheller. He was a Marine officer. He went viral. His criticisms were of the leaders were responsible for the pullout. He hasn't been charged yet, but he is facing potential charges of conduct unbecoming of an officer, contempt toward officials, disobeying a senior officer, and failure to obey an order or regulation.
So
he's
Byron,
currently being
in layman's term, he was talking trash about the leaders. Okay.
That's basically what happened. And so in knowing that, now another point to make, lieutenant colonels in the military, that's somewhere around about 15, 20 years from the officer standpoint when you achieve that rank. Now those that may go through, the most prestigious, military schools and cadet schools, so like they'll kind of rise the ranks a little quicker. But typically when you get to lieutenant colonel, you got some years in that you kind of think more about what you do before you do it. Now, according to the story, he lost someone that was very special to him and close to him in that bombing. But even still, somebody that's that long in the game, he should have thought before he made that comment. And I saw some reports that were saying that he had submitted a letter of resignation prior to, but that process takes a while, and he still falls under those same regulations. So we'll see what happens with this case, but I can guarantee you everything he's being charged with, we're innocent until proven guilty, but pretty much cut and dry. You don't make comments like that and do these things. And social media is new, but I think it got over like 1 million hits.
Oh wow, and that's a lot of people that saw that.
Shares. Yeah. So he can't avoid it. So what he said and what he did, it's for the world to see, and it ain't going nowhere. So
right.
That's
unfortunate. Okay. All right. We're gonna move on to our sports, and I want to start with the incident that happened at Rutherford High School, which is a high school in Panama City. They had just a downright brawl on Monday at the school. I think they said over 50 kids were basically involved in the fight, and they arrested about 15 or 16. So, Byron, it's unfortunate. I really hated to see. There was a video out. Of course, everybody records. So there was video showing the actual fight, and some of those kids are going to be charged with assault on an officer because, as they were trying to break up the fight, law enforcement, they were taking, hits. So, it's a very unfortunate situation. I don't know, there was some talk about maybe it was gang related, at least some of it. And, you know, it just has to come to a point where we kind of teach our kids, because, you know, that is going to follow them. Unfortunately, the ones that were arrested, that is going to follow them the rest of their lives. It'll be a blemish on their record. So the decisions you make today, we teach our kids this, and I teach mine. The decisions you make today will affect your future. So don't think it don't. I mean, I don't know how you teach yours. What do you think, Byron?
Yeah. The another thing we have to kind of remember and realize as parents is what life when we were in school is a lot different. Like you said, cell phones are everywhere. You know, when I went to school, fights happen all the time. They happen, they're gone, and suspensions were 2 days. But
and a group of 50 world, though, you have 50 people fighting.
Yeah, that's
I've
crazy.
Never seen that. I mean,
not to mention they've got a lot more to deal with, but you got to have these conversations with your child at, you know, 10, 11 years old, that hey, you can't solve things physically, you know, no more. And for that was something, if 50 kids, that's something that probably was festering for quite a while, and then boom. But I hate to see that. I hate to see stuff like that happen. And for them to get charges and things like that, that's going to be a long road for these kids. They you know, we gotta that's a real conversation that in our communities we gotta have. Like you can't take things physical, especially like that. You know, we got to learn that physical confrontation will help everything, and
there are consequences.
Because it's like you know, back when I went to school, you know, you got in a fight 2 days home, but now, you know, in some schools 9 days, some schools you gone, you know,
or you get to go to the alternative school here, which is Jack's.
So
but Byron, we never had 50. I've never seen 50. When I was in LA, and I actually did the sideline reporting for high school football, and I did it in the Compton area. AT&T Broadband was the company that I work with, but that kind of stuff did happen, but it was gang related. I mean, it was so bad sometimes, Byron, if a fight broke out, it would just shut down the actual game that night. Like, we'll get a call say you guys can't broadcast tonight because, you know, there was a fight today and it was gang related, and they're afraid that people will come to the football game and start stuff. So, you know, that's the last time I knew. But, you know, here I didn't hear of not that large number of people involved in one fight. So that's just disheartening. It's sad, and I really hate that it happened.
Yeah, I'm old country boy. So with the fights we had, you know, it wasn't gangs, it was like family, you know. So if you fought this particular person and it was from a big family, you got to fight about 6, 7 cousins.
Yeah.
And and you had
and that makes sense.
If you fought somebody from this family, you have to fight about 4 or 5 kids, you know, from day on. So but it wasn't gangs. But I hate that. And I get Rutherford, they're cracking down on it. They don't want that type of scenario to continue. So
you know, they're gonna make examples, because it's bad. I mean, it hit the wire, and it was you know, pretty, you know, widespread as far as them being looked at as a bad school with that being happening. And it was almost like it was uncontrollable the way the video was showing.
Something like that, I think more needs to happen within that community to find out what in the heck is going on with them kids in order to take it to that level.
Yeah, because it was stated one female may have even had a weapon on campus. So I did see that as well. But unfortunately, but anyway, let's move on to our safe county here. There's some football action that took place last night. Graceville played Sneeds. That game was actually a makeup game from when they canceled on September the 10th. So Cottondale has a bye tonight. They lost to North Bay Haven last week, 13-6. So unfortunately, Cottondale is 0-4. Mariana plays South Walton tonight in Mariana. Mariana is 2-3. South Walton is 3-1. Now, last Friday, Mariana lost to Walton 10-7. So there's a difference. South Walton is in Santa Rosa Beach, and then Walton is in Defuniak Springs. So there we go.
Oh,
Yeah, that's the difference. So, but they play them tonight, South Walton in Mariana. Chipley, who's 4-1, they play Escambia Academy, which is a school. They're actually located, let's see where they are.
what,
They're
Pensacola?
actually in
Escambia
Atmore,
County?
Alabama. Atmore, Alabama. That's
What?
where they are. Yeah, yeah. So
Huh.
Chipley's 4-1, and then Escambia Academy is 5-0. So that's going to be a pretty good game tonight. Really good game. And then Bluntstown is at Holmes County tonight, and Bluntstown is undefeated. They're 4-0, and Holmes County is 4-1. So that will be another good game as well. Bluntstown was supposed to play Joaquin Academy, which is a school out of Jacksonville, but that school canceled for some reason against Bluntstown last week. So, but Bluntstown will be in action on tonight. And then moving on to your college football action, we do have some games scheduled for tomorrow, Saturday. University of Virginia will be at Miami. Actually, you know what? They played last night. University of Virginia played Miami last night, Thursday night. This is week 5. So Arkansas will be at Georgia at 11 a.m. on ESPN. Mississippi will be at Alabama. That'll be at 2:30 p.m. on CBS. And then Syracuse will be at Florida State in Tallahassee. That will be at 2:30. And that game will be played on the ACC network. Florida will be at Kentucky at 5 p.m. on ESPN. Boston College will be at Clemson at 6:30 p.m. Auburn will be at LSU. Auburn will be at LSU at 8 p.m. That game will be on ESPN. And then Bethune-Cookman will be at South Carolina State. That will air at 12:30 p.m. on ESPN Plus. And then FAMU will be at home against Alabama State, and that game will be at 5 p.m. And then your top 10 will be Alabama, Georgia. Alabama's number 1. Georgia's number 2. Number 3 is Oregon. Penn State is number 4. Iowa's number 5. Oklahoma is number 6. Number 7 is Cincinnati. Number 8 is Arkansas. Number 9 is Notre Dame. And number 10 is Florida. So Florida do have a representation in the top 10, Byron. So so that's all I have for no. We got to talk about the NBA. I forgot. The NBA, the vaccinated players versus the non-vaccinated players. So Byron, man, there's a lot going on because, the season is about to start. There's about 90% of the league that is vaccinated. So that is good. But for the ones that are not vaccinated, man, they can't go out and dine in. They can't go out other than going to get groceries. They have to be tested, often. So they will have to endure a little bit more than the players that are vaccinated. Byron, what do you think about that?
Hey, it's business. I mean, it's the same thing. You sign a contract. It's the same thing that works with the military. We've got a deadline, and there's steps to take if you don't want to take the vaccine. But at the end of the day, people are paying you. You're contracted to do a job, and if what you're doing affects your ability to perform that job, then now you're bad for business. So, hey, with the NBA, all these sports leagues, it's going to work out the same way. Because if a player ends up missing out 6, 7, 20 games because they didn't get the vaccine and they catch COVID, that's on them. That's something that they chose to do. So, like it or leave it. I mean, that's how it works. And the same, like I say, in the military, it's the same way. So you're contracted, and I see it happening all the way around. It was coming.
So this is interesting, Byron. So there are certain cities that have mandates, and so if you're not vaccinated in those cities, then you can't play at home games. So you're going to lose money.
Yeah.
Now, notably, Kyrie Irving, which is, plays for the Brooklyn Nets, and then Andrew Wiggins, who plays for the Golden State Warriors. There are 2 players who have basically declined to comment on their vaccination status during media day. So, Wiggins is reportedly unvaccinated, and then they say he's actually applied for and been denied a religious exemption from the vaccine. So, and then of course, Irving, he kind of sidestepped when he was asked. he sidestepped the question. So it's kind of speculated that he's unvaccinated as well. But it comes down to money. They will be losing money. Now, when they go away, they can play because that's not, their home team. But when they're at home, they are not able to play. But the good thing is 90% of the NBA is vaccinated. So it's only a few that will have to undergo those stipulations. Mm-hmm. What do you have for entertainment?
Right. So in the entertainment, I got a few things to go over, but one that might kind of upset some people. The Bodyguard. They're looking to remake The Bodyguard, which starred Whitney Houston. The Bodyguard remake, writer says that Whitney Houston's role will now be a Latina. So
will now be a Latino. Did you say that?
Yes. So the remake of the 1992 romantic thriller The Bodyguard, which originally starred Whitney Houston and Kevin Costner, will feature a brand new storyline about an overnight Latina sensation. Matthew Lopez is the Tony Award-winning playwright of The Inheritance, who is told Variety in an interview that he wants a Latina to front the project. So Houston's character, I forget what the name was, portrayed the actress, Rachel Marone. I think I remember it was Rachel. And she was dodging death threats and a stalker, and so that's what brought about her needing a bodyguard in Kevin Costner's character. Well, in this new one, the bodyguard will play and end up coming up singer who realizes how much she needs protection after her growing fame. So I don't know. I think they need to keep it kind of to original, and then maybe give it 30-40 years go by, and then do a remake and change the whole nationality of the star character. But we'll see how it's received. But yeah, it's gonna change to a Latina role, and we'll see how well it does. The Bodyguard.
So is it gonna be called Bodyguard?
Yeah, it's gonna be the Bodyguard, and like I said, it's gonna be a completely different storyline, and it's cool. I get it. But I think with it being so short, since she's passed, and there's still documentaries about Whitney Houston. I think it would be kind of better if you kept the character kind of close to what it originally was.
Yeah, I see some backlash on that. Once it's widely known. Why change it if it's not broken? Why change it? Yeah. But her name is Rachel Marone. You're right. That was her character in The Bodyguard. So we'll have to keep an eye on that.
And for people that don't know, for you youngsters, I Will Always Love You, obviously a remake from Dolly Parton, but that was the movie.
That was it.
The soundtrack that it broke. I Will Always Love You, and the iconic voice of Whitney Houston. Just that's what I'm saying. It's so much. It's not just that movie. Just so much about that movie and what made it
comes
so
on
big
with
that,
it. I
don't.
I don't know. Why reinvent the wheel? That's what I was trying to think of earlier. That phrase. Why reinvent the wheel when it's just all you have to do is just cast someone who could sing close to her and kind of look like her. When I'm watching a movie and it's like a remake of a Lifetime story, I really like looking at the cast to look similar to the character, and I'm big about that was bad casting. Like if I see a movie or a show and they're trying to remake somebody's life and it's not a good match as far as just appearance, it kind of makes me not want to watch it, and it turns me off. I'm like, that's not how they looked, So I think it's good casting when you can get somebody that really looks like them, and especially if they're a singer that sounds somewhat like them. So to me, that's good casting. And if you fall away from that, then that's not good casting. Not to me. No. So
and R. Kelly is convicted on all counts after decades of accusations of abuse. So R. Kelly was found this past Monday. He was found guilty for racketeering and sexual abuse. 8 8 violations of anti-sex, trafficking law known as the Mann Act. So this is kind of a follow-up, from the trial. The decision represents the first criminal punishment against Mr. Kelly, despite a trail of allegations. His 6-week trial exposed a harrowing system of trauma and abuse. There was some real, graphic testimonies. He was directly charged for the crimes related to just 6 women, though, including Aaliyah. Yeah. And also, when she was 15, the government used evidence that he abused others to argue that the scope of Kelly's actions amounted to racketeering. So it is one of the attorneys stated it is now time for the defendant, Robert Kelly, to pay for his crimes. And she continued to convict him in a closing statement and got those verdicts. So, well, that's the next move for R. Kelly will be inmate, whatever his
how many years
be.
can he get? What was the possible sentence?
Doesn't say right now. He's still waiting for his sentencing.
I was wondering what could he get up, like the max could he get up to?
Yeah, I keep us updated on that one. But yeah, he's found guilty. So, and I think he still got, that's not just the only case. He still got other cases out there as well.
Okay.
Another follow-up on the star Anthony Johnson and his funeral and the cost. And we was talking about how, he was his wife was raising a GoFundMe. Well, she got the money. She ended up raising over $70,000, getting donations from rappers like Migos and other comedians like Lil Rel, D.L. Hughley, Michael Blackson even helped raise $10,000. So she later let TMZ know that Johnson didn't have life insurance, like we said. We understand why, which caused issues for the plan.
We understand why he didn't have life insurance?
No, we don't understand why, but
I was gonna say we don't understand why. Okay.
and Jones, she now wants to spread awareness about the necessity of having life insurance and urges fellow comedians to do that. But you got other comedians like TK Kirkland that felt like we felt like, why should we be paying for your mistakes? So word to the wise, get you some life insurance, especially if you got one of these jobs or these professions that don't necessarily provide, benefits like that. Get some life insurance. Yeah. But in other news, Kelly Price, the singer Kelly Price, was missing for a while. She came out in TMZ and basically said that she died during her battle with COVID-19. Kelly Price, she confirmed to fans on TMZ, and she did a video where she broke down what was going on. She was reported missing from her home, and so her sister, a lot of family members were really trying to find her, and they didn't believe that she was battling COVID. They felt like her sister felt like it was uncharacteristic of her to just fall off all contact like that, and hence is why she came out with the video letting people know that she was really down bad sick. She broke her silence 2 days ago and revealed her ongoing battle. She delved in her tumultuous relationship with her sister. So I think, they had something beyond that, and boom, she go missing, and it's a whole big thing. So she came out and spoke about it. But that's a shame. In that interview, I didn't know she was 48. 48 years old. She initially went live and, gave her diagnosis and let her fans know that she was quarantined with her husband, not a boyfriend, who was helping her to recover. But she admitted that she did flatline.
She flatlined. Yeah, that's right. All right. That's all you got?
That's all I got for entertainment.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll move on to our relationship tea segment. The relationship tea topic today is, what makes a perfect mate in your eyes? Is it the appearance or is it the personality? So you go ahead, Byron.
So so with me, I guess I'm gonna have to tell some real stuff right now, right?
Go ahead. So tell the truth.
True players know what I mean. True players know what I mean. You get out there, and females and men both alike. You chase for this when you start in the beginning of your relationships, you chase for this fairy tale image of what is going to be the perfect mate, your ideal husband, your ideal wife. And you soon realize personality goes a long way. It's been plenty of times where I met a female and she physically she had it all, you know. But the minute she started talking, it was like, you know,
No intellect.
this energy. I don't like it. It might not even intellect. It might just be that they're too gossipy, or they
Okay.
you know, talk too much about people, or we just not the same, the right
Mhm.
personality. We're not gelling at all.
Mhm.
And you know, right then I'm like, tune me off. And just like I say, you know, for somebody like me, somebody that matches with you on the religious side, on how
Mhm.
you see things from even the little minor stuff like cleaning or
Mhm.
not cleaning, or cooking, or
Mhm.
good with finances, or good with money. All those things play a part. And I basically feel like, yes, you got to have some physical attraction there.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, as long as the person is good for you, because there's no perfect people. Like I think it was Chris Rock said, you just find somebody just as jacked up as you are and live happy, you know. But I think I'm more on that personality side. And yes, physical attraction is there. Make sure you got somebody that are good for you and physically you're attracted to, and you're good with that. But personality, that goes a long way,
It
because at the
does.
end of the day, physical beauty gonna go. It's gonna
It's
go.
gonna
If
fade.
you really in it for the long haul, yeah, it's gonna
Mhm.
go.
That's
But
true.
that you know, everything else is gonna stay. And I mean, you know, what's the saying? Find somebody. You'll find somebody else that's tired of them, or something like that. There's some saying I've heard somebody say with married people. And that's those that went into it for the wrong reasons.
That's true.
That's kind of why you gotta live a little, and you know, figure people out.
And
But
not get married.
hey,
Yeah.
that's me. Yeah,
Well,
I'm big on personality.
I think, I mean, the truth be told, when you do first see somebody, the appearance is what you're looking at, because you have not had a conversation.
Oh yeah.
You have not talked to
Oh, yeah.
them. So you are looking at their physical appearance. So then once you get past that point and have a conversation and get to know the person, then you can kind of gauge, okay, yeah, this is not going to be the person for me because of, you know, this reason or that reason. But you are talking to somebody, unless you're already friends. And that's two different situations. If you're meeting somebody for the first time, and you know, across the room or across the, you know, some type of event or something, it is going to be the appearance that you're going to catch your eye. Okay, because you, like I said, you don't talk to them.
I want to say something on that. Now, women, y'all got to stop telling these stories, stop telling these lies. Because my wife, I'm gonna tell you, I prayed for her. I asked God specifically for her. I gave the description, I gave everything I wanted, and it came. But now, when I saw her, you know, she said she wasn't. She was looking dead at me. We locked eyes, and that gave me an okay. You know, they gave me an play. You know, they gave you the okay to step and shoot your shot. And she swears she didn't see me. So wait, don't do this like that.
Well, you know, we always change the story. So, but you guys change the story too. You guys do too. But my point is, so, you know, in that situation, you don't know the person. And so you have to take the time to get to know the person. And then you can kind of see if your personality, or if he's a person you're desiring, or if those traits are something you want to, you know, live with. Because honestly, whenever you two get together, or when two people get together, you kind of rub off on each other. And so you got to make the decision, are those traits, you know, that I want to kind of rub off on me? Because if not, then you need to just kind of cut it right from the jump, you know. And I'm saying this to, you know, these single women that, you know, say, oh, I can change them. No, you can't. Just don't even try. Don't go into a relationship saying you can change them. Just go ahead and get out the door right away. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So
I'm
now,
big on people that I can build with, but not,
yeah, exactly.
not somebody that I got
not
to build
remake.
up, you know?
Oh, you got to remake.
Yeah.
You don't
we
want
can
to
grow,
remake anybody.
but we're gonna grow together.
Exactly.
We're gonna grow together.
Exactly. Now, the best relationships, I think, are, you know, the ones that you're friends first. And so, you know, you're not really, there's no attraction probably at the beginning. But as far as physical, but you're that person that y'all can depend on each other. you're having good friends, you guys make each other laugh. It's really a love relationship because it's beyond physical appearance. So that's the best, really, when you get to that point and you're like, man, yeah, I can grow old with this person, no matter if they lose their hair, no matter if they gain weight. You know, I know that personality is going to remain the same. Their appearance may not, but the personality is. And that's what's going to keep you guys together, keep you in that love, keep you in that harmony and on the same page where you can kind of work through everything. And I'm going to say this because, you know, I was the chick that always had the long hair, the big hair. You know, sometimes I wore short haircuts, but, you know, of course, when I went through chemo, I was bald as a baby bottom, you know. Was that cute? My husband told me often, you're beautiful. You know, you're so beautiful. And I was feeling like, I ain't cute with no bald head.
Yeah, you don't believe it.
I believe it. He was like, you're pretty. Yeah, I'm like, you're pretty. I was like, well, thank you. But in those times, you know, you may face a situation where you're not cute. You know, you may, you know, gain weight, or you may lose your hair, you know, whatever the case may be. But you got to have that love that's going to stay there and get you through those times. And well, you'll know what, no matter what I look like, that person's going to be by my side regardless. So, you know, you got to get away from the physical and got to understand the person is the person, and that's who you want to be with.
Yeah, what you talking about? I always tell, like I tell my niece, I tell everybody, look, find you a guy that looks at you as that jewel. Only a guy that looks at you as that jewel. He don't. It don't matter what's going on. And me and my brother was saying with my wife, I was trying to figure out what to get me for birthday. I said, look here, I don't. Everything what you are is good for me. I'm good, you know. And unless I tell you otherwise. So, but they have to see it that way. They have to see you as that jewel. That nothing you can do can change whether or not you look, you know, your beauty to them. And it's the truth. I know a lot of wives don't want to believe it. They're like, "Oh, you just saying that." No, it's the truth. They telling you the straight up truth. So, look, find that person that, you know, and a lot of times in those friendships, it's kind of like at some point in the friendship, in the early stage, it's like, now you my friend, and you kind of tune off that attraction mode.
Right.
And then somewhere along the line, it's like, hey, I've been trying to find somebody that, and this person is I need somebody like, wait a minute.
Yeah, right there.
You know what I'm saying? And then the attraction turned back on. So a lot of times it's there. They just, you just turn it off because you're friends.
And you are looking at something else too. That's why. A lot of times you're looking at something else when it's right there in front of you. So trust me, I know that one too. So, but yeah, just remember, you know, there's no perfect mate, but there is a perfect mate for you. So that's how you have to see it. What's perfect for you, not a perfect mate. Okay. All right, Byron, I think we're up against the clock. So we want to wrap this up and thank everybody for watching today's show. It's been a great show. And we'll be back next week at the same time, 12 o'clock on Facebook Live on Bottom Line with Roni and Byron. And remember, when you know the truth, you can speak the truth. And the light shines brighter when it shines for two. We'll see you next week.
Peace.